Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in data, but you're absolutely starving for real insight? Yeah, it's a super common puzzle. Well, today we're going to equip you with a mental toolkit to turn all of that data chaos into some serious clarity. Okay, let's get into it.
This right here is the big question we're tackling. How do we go from just having a bunch of numbers to actually understanding what they mean? And more importantly, what we should do about them? This is where the real power is hiding.
And this is our treasure map for the journey. It lays out 6 different types of analysis. See how they're laid out? We start down in the bottom left with things that are pretty simple but maybe don't give us a ton of value. And we're going to work our way all the way up to the top right, to the stuff that's more complex but gives us incredible value. Each step builds on the last, getting us closer to that gold standard.
So, you ready? Let's start climbing this ladder. We're going to gear up like a data detective, one level at a time, and we're starting right at the foundation. Our very first stop is descriptive analysis. Now, this is the essential first step in any investigation. It answers one simple but crucial question. What happened? I mean, before you can even think about looking for clues, you have to establish the basic facts of the case, right? That's what things like mean, median, and mode do. They just give us a clear, factual picture of the scene.
I absolutely love this analogy. Before you can find any hidden clues in a messy room, you have to tidy up. Descriptive analysis does exactly that for your data. It puts everything in its place, organizes the chaos so you can actually see the basic layout. It's the foundation for any deeper investigation. And here's what that might look like in the wild. You see a visual like this normal distribution curve, and it might seem all technical and scary, but really, it's just an incredibly powerful way to summarize your data in one glance. It instantly shows you the average right there in the middle and how much things spread out to the sides. It's a super fast way to get that snapshot of what happened.
Okay, so the room is tidy, the scene is set. Now we get to pull out the magnifying glass. This next level, exploratory analysis, is all about looking a little closer and asking a much more interesting question. What is unknown here? Now we're officially on the hunt for clues.
And this mindset, it's perfect. It's exactly like playing Where's Waldo. You're not just organizing things anymore, you are actively scanning the scene. You're looking for that one thing that seems just a little bit out of place, maybe an outlier, an unexpected trend, a hidden pattern that could just crack the whole case wide open.
This visual approach is pretty much the secret weapon of any data detective. A pioneer in this field named John Toolkit basically showed that just by plotting your data, looking for weird outliers or trends or clusters like in these examples, you can uncover things that pure statistical formulas might completely miss. It's about literally seeing the story in the data. All right, we've got our facts straight and we've spotted some interesting clues. Now the pace really starts to pick up. We're going to climb the next 3 levels, inferential, predictive, and prescriptive, pretty fast. This is where we go from just observing things to actually explaining, forecasting, and recommending action. So let's break these down with a few really simple analogies. First, you've got inferential analysis. Think of this like tasting one small slice of a cake to make a really confident guess about what the whole cake tastes like. You use a small sample to understand the big picture. Next up, predictive analysis. This basically turns you into a data fortune teller. You use patterns from the past to make a solid prediction about the future. And finally, there's prescriptive analysis. This is like your data-driven GPS. It doesn't just show you where you could go, it actually recommends the single best route to take. And that brings us to the very top of the ladder, the most powerful tool in our entire toolkit. We have finally arrived at what experts call the gold standard, causal analysis. This is it. This is where we solve the ultimate mystery. You see, all the other methods we talked about, they can show us correlations, that 2 things seem to happen together. But causal analysis is the only one that helps us prove that one thing actually causes the other. It gets to the fundamental why. Think about it like a long line of dominoes. You see the very last domino fall, but that's just the symptom, right? Causal analysis is the art of tracing that chain of events backwards, domino by domino, to find the one single push that started that whole chain reaction in the first place. And a key technique for doing this is called root cause analysis, which often uses tools like this fishbone diagram you see here. It's a really systematic way to brainstorm and map out all the potential causes, peeling back the layers of a problem until you finally get to the true root of it. It is pure detective work. And this right here is why it's the gold standard.
When you actually understand the root cause, the why, you can create real lasting solutions. You're not just putting a band-aid on the problem anymore. You're fixing the underlying issue so it never happens again.
So now you have this incredibly powerful toolkit. But like any powerful tool, it can be misused. To be a true data detective, you also have to know the common mental traps and biases that can lead you completely down the wrong path.
The first and maybe biggest trap is confirmation bias. It's just human nature. We tend to look for evidence that proves what we already believe, and we conveniently ignore anything that might prove us wrong. So, what's the solution? You have to be your own biggest skeptic. You have to actively go looking for data that proves your theory wrong. A great detective is always willing to change their mind.
Next up is selection bias. This happens when the group of people or things you're studying is skewed. I mean, imagine trying to predict a national election, but you only survey people at one candidate's political rally. Your results would be totally useless, right? That's why you have to always question your data sources and ask that one critical question: who is missing from this picture?
And finally, you've got to watch out for the availability heuristic. Our brains have this funny quirk where we overestimate the importance of things that are really dramatic or easy to remember, like plane crashes. Statistically, they're incredibly rare, but they feel more common because they stick in our memory. The solution is simple. Always rely on the data, not just the drama or the memorable stories. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? We need to be data-driven, for sure, but we also have to be data-savvy. It's not just about having the data, it's about using it critically, thoughtfully, and with a keen awareness of our own built-in biases. So there you have it, a complete roadmap, from raw data all the way to deep causal insight, plus the wisdom to avoid those common traps along the way. The Data Detectives Toolkit is now yours. So the only question left is, what mystery will you solve first?